And if there's something that's just, you'd rather skip it, you usually can get out of it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Girl Gone London channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylin. I'm an American who's been living in the UK for almost 10 years, and today I'm talking about the best parts of living abroad that people don't often talk about. Okay, so I did a video on the worst things about living abroad and the things that are really hard, and I thought I should do a video about the best things about living abroad. Not necessarily just in the UK, but living abroad anywhere away from your home country as an expat or immigrant, long-term, short-term, whatever. But I didn't want to do a video on boring stuff like, oh, you learn to be resilient and cultural differences and things like that. Like, yes, that is all true, but I thought that wouldn't make for a good video, so I came up with some things that maybe people don't often share, or the funny things that I find are positive parts of living in another country, so let's get started. Okay, the first positive thing about living abroad is you get to pick and choose the things that you attend back in your home country. It's also easier to lose contact with people that you might want to lose contact with. So in my worst things about living abroad video, I did explain how it's really hard sometimes to maintain relationships with people back home, as well as constantly feeling like you're missing out on stuff. But there's always going to be like that one event, that one family wedding for like your sixth cousin that you don't even know, that you don't really want to go to, that you get out of because you're just like, oh, I'm really sorry, it's 4,000 miles away and I can't make it. Similarly, because it is so easy to lose contact with people, it can be a positive if you want to reinvent yourself, kind of start a new friendship group, or there are just people in your life from your home country that you want to figuratively leave behind in addition to literally leaving them behind. Now, this is definitely not something that comes up a lot. I'm not saying that this outweighs the negative parts of not being able to go home that much or to see my friends and family, but there definitely is a lot more control in what you do go home for. And if there's something that's just, you'd rather skip it, you usually can get out of it. Now, the next positive about living abroad anywhere in the world is if you do have close friends and family, they often want to come visit you. So I have been visited by, I think, like all of my best friends and most of my family, especially when we had a wedding here. A lot of my family came, and I have just had the experience of being able to show people around in a new place, because when you live abroad, you're suddenly moving to this new fascinating country for people. So people might want to visit you, say, having moved to Spain, then they might want to visit you having moved to like Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That's not to say that they can visit you as much or that this is a constant thing that gets to happen, because it can be cost prohibitive. But I would definitely say one of the positive parts of living abroad is that you do have a place usually where people want to come and visit, and then you just have to take time off work or whatever you're doing, not necessarily always fly back in the opposite direction. Okay, the next positive thing, if you have retained your accent, which most people do, and I don't really understand someone completely losing their accent or like switching completely to the other culture. I don't really get how that happens. But for the most part, no matter how long you live in a new country, you often will retain the accent that you grew up with. Maybe like if you had a strong Southern accent in the States, like maybe it would be kind of dulled down a bit, but I don't really see how you would completely change your accent. Anyway, being able to live abroad and actually live somewhere but have a foreign accent means that there are a couple times when you can kind of pull the I'm not from here card to get away with little things like maybe you accidentally got on the wrong train or sitting in the wrong space. And I feel like as soon as people hear your accent, they just assume that you don't know what you're doing, especially being an American living in the UK. I feel like people just often think I'm a tourist, especially because I spend most of my time in and around London working and commuting and things like that. So if I do make a tiny mistake or order something incorrectly or don't know where I'm going or buy the wrong train ticket, it's pretty easy for people to let me off because of my accent and because of what they assume from that. Okay, the next positive thing about living abroad, especially for us introverts, is that you always have a point of conversation to start some conversation off with. The fact that you are an XYZ living in another country means that no matter who you meet that's new, it will usually always start off with your story and how you got there, because your accent will usually give it away. So just the other week, I remember somebody asking me like, oh, is that a Canadian accent I hear? And then I have to explain, no, it's from the States. I'm from Florida. I have pretended to be Canadian before in a situation, not gonna lie, but most of the time I'm honest. And so that's just a nice point of discussion. You kind of always have something to talk to somebody about. Usually, depending on the country that you have moved from, people might ask you questions about that country, or in my case, a lot of people then want to tell me about their experiences in the States or visiting the States, or one of their friends or family live in the States. And you kind of start off with this like shared conversation about traveling, about living in different places, all based on the fact that you are living abroad. And this lasts for as long as you live abroad, whether you've just moved or whether you've been here for 10 years, you meet someone new and you have something to talk about. And the last positive I came up with that people don't often talk about in living abroad is that you get to develop your favorite snacks and junk food in 2 or more different countries. So the fact that I've lived in the UK and live in America means I have a whole list of things in both countries that I can go to no matter what country I'm in. So in the UK, I'm going for the Cadbury's, Freddos, hula hoops. I used to really love hula hoops, which for the Americans watching are like a little cylindrical not a cracker. What are they like? Someone who's British, comment below. How would you describe a hula hoop to somebody who doesn't know what a hula hoop is? And I'm not talking about the hula hoop that you like hula with. I'm talking about the snack hula hoops. And obviously in the US, I have my favorite snacks as well. Cheez-Its, Goldfish, oatmeal cream pies, Nutter Butter bars for anybody from the States. So yes, you get to experience different cultures and different languages depending on where you're living and traveling different places, and that's all fantastic. But I really like getting to experience the, you know, those like go-to snacks in both countries, and I now have a long list of both in both countries that I can go to if I need a pick-me-up. Okay, so this was a shorter video. Those are the best parts that I can really put into words about living life abroad that we don't always discuss. And again, there are a lot more that are more serious and really have to do with the experiences you get to have and the person that you get to become, who really feels like you can adapt to almost anything because you have adapted to a completely different culture and way of life no matter where you move to. I am an American living in the UK, and people often think, well, that's not gonna be that different. They speak English. Like, let me tell you, it is different. And the differences might be smaller and less noticeable to somebody who's just visiting. But once you get into day-to-day life somewhere that is not your home country, it will definitely feel foreign, and you definitely will have to push yourself to adapt. So all of those serious things are definitely positives of living abroad, but I thought I would share some of the funnier ones as well. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys next time.